Welcome back to the Married at First Sight Season 12 Episode 5 review. This is Couples Couch with
Pat.
And I'm Cam. Let's get into this week's episode. Oh my goodness. But before we do, let's recap Episode 4 so we can remember what happened last week before we talk about last night's episode. Let's get right into it. Hey guys, we also wanted to just make note that we did get new mics. We heard you guys down in the comments. No pun intended. We heard y'all in the comments, you know.
Now hear us.
Oh yeah, can you hear us good now? We got new mics. Patrick got his mic on, so we should be good to go. Let us know in the comment section below if this sound is perfect and good to go.
Now they're going to pick up everything that I say, which is not what I intended.
Let's get into it. In last week's episode 4, the couples were seen waking up from their wedding night on day 1, and they had started day 1 of marriage. During this day, they went out and met each other's families to kind of get to know their spouse and who they're dealing with and just kind of bond with their spouse's family. But day 1 of marriage was not good for everybody. Paige woke up to Chris saying he was going downstairs to get menus. What is it, an hour?
Wait, time out. That ain't what she woke up to.
Well, we know what she woke up to. Okay. After she laid back down, he said he was gonna get menus. It was 8:50, 9 o'clock. Fast forward to 10:07 a.m. He did not return with naan, pancake,
menu, bash
brown,
Pop-Tart.
Man, nothing. He came
muffin,
nothing.
Continental breakfast, dry cereal, nothing.
Nothing. He returns to the room and she's like, "What happened? You've been MIA for however long." And he was like, "Yeah, I had a panic attack, and you know the reasoning behind it was ridiculous."
This dude done had like 2 panic attacks.
So his panic attack was about him not being attracted to Paige.
Last night and this morning, I am so confused. I've never been with a man who wants to have sex multiple times that didn't desire me or didn't find me attractive.
That they had sex not once, but twice in the last 12 hours. And now here you are, Chris, having a panic attack in the lobby or wherever you went, after you done laid the girl's body down 2 times. And after he done laid the girl down 2 times and made her feel horrible about it. So that was day 1 for Paige and Chris. And the next few scenes of that episode shows the couples receiving a gift basket with a note and all kinds of goodies telling them where they're going to go for their honeymoon. And they are going to Vegas for their honeymoon.
Ooh.
I know. So they go into Vegas. They arrive in Vegas. Everyone gets settled and kind of turned down for the night. And that's pretty much how they end the episode. Kind of was the Chris and Paige show on last week's episode.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling like this is almost the Chris and Paige show anyway, overall, because none of the other couples are giving us any life on anything.
Chris, Paige, and question mark.
For who?
For the other one.
Oh, the ex.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we don't know who she is just yet, at least. So, all right. Well, let's get into last night's episode,
yes.
Episode 5. Oh my goodness. All right. This is gonna be a very high level overview. We're not getting into the nitty gritty of every last thing that happened, as you guys should know by now. So let's talk about Episode 5. The show opens up real juicy.
Just sit there and told me like you would. I told you. You didn't want to keep that to yourself.
I told her. I don't want to bring it up. It is, but I'm going to.
How do you think you're going to be able to move forward with her and with her knowing that you have devastating news to tell her that you're keeping from her? How do you
I have to figure it out.
What are you scared of?
I'm not scared.
Chris, like behind the scenes in like maybe the closet or wherever production sets up, and they're asking him like, why didn't you tell her? And he's like, I didn't want to tell her. And they're like, what do you mean you're not going to tell her? Mind you, we have no clue on what they're talking about. That's literally how they open the show.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you know, I'm just not ready to tell her. And she was like, the producer number one is like, you have to tell her she's your wife. Then producer number two comes up like, what's going on? Yeah. Are you not going to tell her? And he's like, nah, I'm not going to do it.
Are you scared? I ain't scared.
I ain't scared.
She said, you must be scared of something.
Yeah. And then he's like, you know, I just don't want to do it. She's like, you're not going to tell her ever? And then they cut scene and then show us what happened 2 hours earlier.
And I'm sitting there like.
Me too. I'm like, so what needs to be told? Please tell me. Somebody tell me. So they skip back and try to go to show us what happens 2 hours earlier, but it has nothing to do with Chris and Paige. They jump into the scene with Clara and Ryan, and they're sitting down just talking about how they foresee themselves as older people. Yeah. And then they move on to Eric and Virginia, and they're in their hotel room just kind of getting ready for the day, and they're talking about, you know, how they are in their normal lives, you know, getting ready for work. And Virginia's like, I'm always late, and Eric is giving her the side eye, blah, blah,
and everybody's at home like, let's get back to Chris.
Yeah,
come on.
We don't care. We don't care. And then they finally go back to Chris and Paige, which is where we trying to be at. And they're at the breakfast table eating their breakfast, and he brings up that he received some devastating news this morning.
I got a lot.
What is going on?
Yeah, I found out some information this morning, and it is, I won't say devastating, but it is something that I have to deal with.
What?
It doesn't matter.
And Paige is like, what is it? And he's like, it doesn't matter. And she's like, what? It just doesn't matter. And it's the mumbling for me.
Are you going to act out every scene?
I can, because
Is this new? Is this new part? I bring out Jesus a couple times, and now you act out every scene. I'm sorry. You probably gonna cut this, but
I'm not.
Hilarious.
I'm like, but seriously, why does he mumble like this?
Because he's full.
Yes, he is. And I'm just like, be an adult. Like, you're going to bring some devastating news to your wife, and you're going to mumble it half the time, or say it doesn't matter, and then say, you know,
I'm going to handle it on my
own. So if you're going to handle it on your own, then why did you bring it up at this table to ruin how this omelet settles in me? Like,
because he's a diva. Like, just be honest. He's a diva.
A divo.
A divo. No, he's a diva.
So then he ends the conversation with, well, what time you want to hit the pool? No, I don't want to swim nowhere with you. I barely want to be here with you. And now you want to act up. Like, so poor Paige, she didn't get nowhere in that conversation. That's pretty much how they ended that scene. Let's move on.
Poor Paige for now.
This is true. Let's move on to the next scene. Next scene shows Vincent and Brianna, and they're just kind of having conversation, and he brings up the fact that his grandmother is doing better, and that, you know, he's really happy that he had Brianna there to support him during that time, during this scary time. But, you know, that's great that, you know, his grandmother's doing a lot better.
Yeah, I'm glad his grandmother's doing a lot better.
Yeah, and that's it for that scene. Let's move on to the next one. So the next few scenes, they're back at Chris and Paige. Good grief. So Chris does more shucking and jiving, trying to avoid answering the question on what happened. What do you have to say? I can see your face.
He all the way down at the pool, like, no, don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of it myself. And she just following behind him. Like,
they're not at the
just
pool,
tell me. I
actually.
mean, what? I know, but that's what I see in my head.
Oh, they're still in their hotel room. Let me set the scene for y'all. And he's sitting in
go.
there in the corner. Let me act this out. And he's sitting there.
Turn the volume
and
up.
she's like, you're making me sick to my stomach. And he's like, I really don't want to make you sick to your stomach.
He making somebody else sick to the stomach, too.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah.
up. So then he's like, do you want to talk about it?
Yes.
All this time since my omelet came through the door, I've been trying to talk about this. What are you asking me? So he then proceeds to pull her into the bathroom, turns on the shower, turns on the tub, flushes the chain, does everything. Just tell the girl, you're so extra, Chris. Like, to me, you're making a dramatic or a bad situation dramatic.
Yeah.
You know, like, she'll never forget how this all went down because
she ain't gonna forget this anyway.
Because he made it so much more dramatic. Like, it's already bad news. Just tell it easy, gently. You know what I mean?
He just told the girl he wasn't attracted to her after sleeping with her twice. He don't know gently.
I'm just like, why would you have to make it so dramatic for her this way? She gotta chase him around the hotel room and be pulled into bathrooms and turn off your mic. Like, just tell me.
Because she did.
And she did what?
She did all of that.
Yeah, she allowed it. She went with it. I would have been like, nah.
I would have been gone.
Tell me now. Like, listen. I'm not doing all of this foolishness with you. Tell me now I'm packing my stuff and I'm out of here. So then she found out. He comes out the bathroom. It's like she's having a moment. I guess she was in there crying. Poor girl. She comes out, gets dressed, and heads out. He hasn't seen her since that moment. That was how that scene ends. I just feel like, I don't know, Paige. I mean, God's giving you the red flags every which way. He's having a baby is the secret, you know?
I put a lot on him. But Paige, if you ain't gone by the second commercial break of this show,
yes,
then anything after that, I don't want to say you deserve it, but you have
now we're looking at you like part of the problem because he told you his ex-fiance, and I don't know if I was clear that was the secret, but the secret is his ex-fiance is having a baby.
Right.
And I just don't understand her mindset at this point. I don't want to give away what she does in the end of the show, but I know if it was Kamara, I would have already been in the lobby waiting for whatever taxi they come, or the shuttle to take me back to Atlanta where my house is.
How old are you? Taxi?
Me?
Ubers or Lyfts now. You'd be hard pressed to find a taxi.
My 30.
You gonna find it in the yellow pages?
I'm gonna call the operator.
You gonna call from a payphone?
Or I'm gonna call 411. Hello, operator.
Can you put me in contact with a taxi service? You're like Uber, Lyft.
I'm moving on. The next few scenes show Haley and Jake sitting down for lunch. They talk about kind of what their family and friends thought of each other, the spouses, and they said they all had positive feedback, but the conversation was so dry, and then he proceeds to eat a whole onion at the table. I'm not going to say you don't end up eating a whole onion when you have a salad, but just to take a whole onion.
Who eats a whole onion on a salad?
He had a good chunk of an onion.
They don't say a whole onion. Do you not know what a whole is?
Extra like Chris. I'm sorry.
He ate a whole onion. Like, who eats a whole onion? Well, I mean, it was right, a quarter of an onion.
Took it to the face, like, I'm sorry. I was like, why are you eating this much onion in one shot like that? You know, that's gotta burn going down. Don't you think? Like,
I don't even like onions like that. Like, I don't eat onions in any of my salad.
I do. They're good, but I would never eat like a good.
The only time you eat onions in a salad, let's be honest, is Olive Garden.
That's true. They kind of forced it on you. It's already in the mix. Anyways.
And radish. They put radish in it.
They force everything on you, but you love it. Olive Garden salad is good.
2018 Olive Garden salad is good.
We're not going to go down this road.
We can review restaurants next. When this season's over, I want to review restaurants.
Anyways, they sit there and their conversation is pretty dry to me. they're talking about the gym and how many sets they do and on a daily basis what they do. And by then, I was already half asleep through that segment. That wasn't very entertaining to me or interesting. So let's move on to the next few scenes. Next few scenes show Clara and Ryan. They went out to see the dolphins. And side note, dolphins are so smart. Like, it's so scary how well trained they are. Mm-hmm. Right? Did you watch that scene? Like, I don't know.
Outside of that scene, how much have you watched? Have you researched
Lived
dolphins?
in Orlando for forever and never went to SeaWorld. So, I don't know. I was amazed.
Yeah. I was about to get you. If you wouldn't have put SeaWorld in, because you're like, I've lived in Orlando my whole life and never seen a dolphin. It's because there ain't no beachfront in Orlando.
I know I'm not going up to go look for a true dolphin, like, in person. I'm just saying, like, the well-trained ones. I don't think the ones out in the sea is going to be that true.
Bring them in, educate them. Hit them with a Sally Mae bill. Send their ass back out in the ocean.
That's how they earn their pay at SeaWorld. I'm sorry, y'all. We digress. Oh my God. So they take their little excursion to like this aquarium where you can sit down and see the dolphins swim. And they start to talk about babies and religion. And that's where it kind of, to me, went sour for Ryan. He didn't say anything, but his face.
So that's one of those things we'll have to figure out later on.
That's what he did.
And that is the, I don't agree with you, but I don't want to start no drama, so I'm just going to hit you with the type of vibe. I am excited to see how this plays out with these two.
I really am.
Yeah, because I feel like they're just slow going, you know? And the same with like Haley and Jake. Like, I feel like it's gonna come. We're just taking a slow ride, whereas Chris and Paige are like on the highway and they going 100 miles an hour into their drama.
Chris is going 100 miles an hour. Paige is running behind him with her bags in her hand. Wait.
Next scene shows Paige meets up with Brianna and Vincent meets up with Chris in the hotel rooms, and clearly they each need somebody to talk to. And I just find it funny that they kind of link onto or latch onto Brianna and Vincent. I can see like they're cool, you know what I mean, to talk to.
That's it?
What?
They're just cool? That's why you think they linked them up?
I don't know. I mean, they look like cool people to talk to, right?
So both couples look cool?
Both couples? No, Brinson. Brianna and Vincent look like a cool couple that you could talk to.
Okay.
What are you saying? What are you getting to?
I'm just saying, if any of them look like talkers, it would be Jay Leno.
Clara, I'm done. Anyways, so Paige proceeds to tell Brianna during her visit with her that Chris's ex-fiance is now pregnant. And Brianna's like, whoa, like, I am so sorry. And then Chris meets up with Vincent in his hotel room, and he proceeds to tell him the same thing. And he's like, so what you gonna do, bro? That's kind of the vibe, right? I don't really know what they want Brinson to tell them. I don't know Brianna and Vincent together.
I'm glad it didn't come to me, because I'd be like,
And you never really want to tell no girl to leave their man. You know? You don't. No, because at the end of the day, when they turn around and decide to make up with their man, and then they turn back on you and be like, you told me to leave him and blah, blah, blah. And look at us now, we good. So you never want to tell somebody to leave their man. And that's exactly what Brianna did. She didn't say nothing about leave your man. You know, she's like, I didn't want to push my opinion on her. And I would have done the same. I would have behind the scenes been like, couldn't be me. Like, I wouldn't be doing that. But I can respect Brianna's position. She was like, I ain't trying to, tell her what to do. You can only be like a listening ear.
right. And I would have been laughing at Chris. I would have laughed a good, healthy laugh. Even if it was my homeboy. Like, I'm going to laugh at you. That's just who I am.
That's awful.
No, getting a girl pregnant while you're married is awful. Me laughing at
He got her pregnant before he was married to her.
Whatever. Okay, so it's less awful, but still funny. So I'm laughing. I'm sorry, I don't care. That's why I don't have a whole bunch of friends.
Clearly. So Paige begins to tell Brianna that she feels like she got the short end of the stick and she just doesn't know how much more she can handle. And then Chris said to Vincent, if he was Paige, he wouldn't stay. So the same thing that we're saying, he's saying. Like he would, like dudes do not be giving females that many chances like women do men. And I said what I said.
Facts.
Thank you. We be out here trying to, he gonna change, he gonna do right. We do one thing wrong or a half of a thing wrong, they gone. He gone.
Long as she knows. No, I'm not for the bull. I mean, some dudes, I guess to each his own, but
yeah.
Once you're soiled.
Not soiled. Next scene shows Vincent coming back to his room and talking about the situation with Brianna, his wife, and he's just like, yo, this is something else. And Brianna also proceeds to say, like, I didn't want to push my opinions on her, but she needs to be thinking about herself first, which is good advice to any, a good general advice. Like, you got to be thinking about what's best for you. Why are you laughing?
It's just wow. Like
it's a lot. It's a whole lot. Next scene shows Eric and Virginia poolside. They're taking shots, drinking.
Of course.
They end up talking about their pet peeves with one another. She mentions that he leaves like the wet towel on the floor. Welcome to marriage. And then they get on the topic of guy friends. And Eric says that he is against women and girls and guys being friends because he doesn't think that it could be a real genuine friendship.
Because I know how guys operate. You could be best friends with just a random guy. That dude, no matter what, has probably thought about hooking up with you or like dating with you 100%.
You cannot say 100%.
I can.
So he believes that, a guy friend has thought about laying you down, the girl, at least one time in his mind, and he feels that it's 100% true. Why are you making a face?
That's a fact.
So you agree 100%?
Yeah, 100%, 1000%. Women aren't that naive. Y'all know that. Like, when you say laying down, like sexual thoughts?
Yes, that's exactly what he's saying.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
But you can't be worried about, like...
You got to trust your spouse, too.
To eat the other day, we walked by groups of dudes. I'm sure dudes look at you when we're out and they... All right.
I think he's talking about more of the friendship. Like, if I had a good guy friend...
Then you wouldn't have a husband.
I'm moving on to the next scene. The next few scenes show the couple sitting down for dinner. I'm going to give a very high-level overview what happened with each couple. I'm not getting into the nitty-gritty. So first up, Claire and Ryan are sitting down for dinner, and they talk about like their houses. And Claire admits to being messy and saying she doesn't do dishes often, and that she's concerned that after decision day, they, would end up moving into Ryan's house, but she doesn't want it to feel like she's moving into Ryan's house, but moving into more of a shared space. I don't know how that's going to work because I feel like the best way in that situation is to move into a house together, like a fresh setup together. Because anytime you move into somebody's house, when they get angry, they're going to be like, this my type of...
You're not on the mortgage. I mean, it is. Secondly, if I got equity in my house and with this mark, no, I'm not telling.
An old man view. The equity in this market and the interest rates are just out of control.
They are nice right now. Okay, you should refinance.
That's what happened in their scene. Moving on, Vincent and Brianna are at their dinner table and they're talking about just how happy they are. And, Brianna is saying that, Vincent exceeds her expectations. And then they show them kind of like touching toes under the table and rubbing feet. And it's like, I guess that's the honeymoon status because, baby, come rub your feet on me right now.
No,
your cold feet. Like,
don't touch me with your feet.
They're just in bliss, right now. And that's to be expected. It's the honeymoon phase.
Okay,
no pun
but I don't want to see your feet. Like, that was bothersome to me. Like, I wanted to change the channel. They was rubbing toes. And feet.
They were in love. Next up was Haley and Jake. They sit down for their dinner, and they just having random combo.
But weirdly, they're like
a match.
vibing?
Yeah, I guess the experts knew what they were doing in that sense.
No, that's an accident.
He asked the question.
I'm not giving the experts any.
And I want to know your answer to this. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I meant to cut you off.
I know.
They asked, how many holes does a straw have? What's your answer?
How many?
How many holes does a straw have? It's not
2.
1. It has 1 hole. How does it have 2? Because it has an opening at the bottom. It's the same damn hole from the top.
Okay. And did you hear his explanation?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
I forget exactly what he said.
He said, I consider my mouth and my butthole 2 different holes, so.
Yeah, but there's so much workings going on in here. Like, this is a straight shot hole through a straw. Right?
Listen, this is, you're weird for going into this.
We're turning into Haley and
No,
Jake.
you're turning into Jake.
Hey, drop your comments in the comment section below. How many holes does a straw have? My vote is 1. It's only 1 straight hole. How can it be 2?
Please drop a comment, but drop it on something else in this video. I don't care how many holes
I want to know. Pat
are in the
says 2.
straw.
I say 1.
I don't say any.
He said 2. So, next up, they show
Jacob,
Chris and Paige sitting down for dinner. And they begin to discuss the elephant in the room.
Elephant.
The baby in the room.
Gray whale.
He reveals his ex is 6 weeks pregnant. And he did tell his ex that he is married. And he did apologize to Paige for giving her such a rough start to the marriage. And Paige asked him, how do you feel about your ex?
Still have feelings for her? Or does she think that there would be a possibility that y'all would get back together?
Right now, doesn't matter if she's pregnant or not. You're my wife. Nobody comes before you. So, doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? What is going on?
I don't really think he gave a direct answer with that. He was more like it doesn't really matter. The umbrella is, God, wife, kids. And he has to put Paige, his wife, before anybody. Mother, kids, ex, anybody. And it's like, and I know everybody has their own views on their umbrella of what they care for in whatever order. But I don't agree with his order. Personally, I put God, kids, then husband. They didn't ask to come into this world, and here I am putting this man before them, who is capable and able to do his own thing.
No, I mean, because I feel you, because it's like God, kids, PS5, my car.
I'm done. Your phone. I'm done.
My new phone, you still playing around. Yeah, my order. But no.
Everybody has their own order, so no judgment, but I don't agree with his order,
And I don't know, maybe I'm stretching here, but I don't like his I can't get off the fact you done told the woman you're not physically attracted to her. But you're married to her, So you're going to make it work and try to find an attraction. So that's one excuse, right?
Yes.
Now your ex is having a baby.
Yes.
But your wife comes first, so doesn't matter what goes on with your ex, like your wife comes first even before kids. So now you're throwing your wife is like a wrench in between.
Yes, you and your newborn.
You and your newborn, but you're gonna do it because you're a stand-up. Like you're giving excuses, and that I'm a stand-up guy only goes so far. You can't maintain that.
Yeah.
I'm only doing this because I'm a stand-up guy and I'm gonna learn to love it. Like,
yeah,
you have to love it, and then the stand-up guy in you keeps you on the right track.
Yes,
as you go along. That can't be the motivation.
Yeah, I agree.
Or else you're just gonna be a miserable person and make people miserable around you.
Yes.
Like,
yeah.
If you're not attracted to somebody, you're not attracted to them.
And that's it. Paige said, she made a vow, and God doesn't give you any more than you can handle. So she plans to work through it with Chris. Another forgiving soul?
What you think?
Another forgiving soul? Is this what we're gonna call her?
No, I'm not what I'm gonna call her.
I'm like, after everything in the last 72 hours, you're willing to work through it? I don't know. Maybe she's just feeling, in the moment. Let me give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe just it's the moment, and maybe later in the show, she may come to her senses. I'm hoping.
And I'm going to put a disclaimer out there right now. And
Okay.
I'm sorry. But from this point on, Paige is no longer a victim.
Yeah, she's a masochist.
Somebody had an SAT. No, I don't think that's an SAT word. But anyway.
She likes to pay.
Right. So I'm going to make fun of all the dumb choices she makes from this point on. And I'm not going to feel bad. So don't say, you shouldn't say that about Paige.
Take it easy on her. No, she's now.
You are culpable.
Yeah.
Is that the right word?
Oh,
Come on with it.
Smart today. All of that. Because she's clear eyes walking headfirst into everything right now. So.
Anything happens after this point, you signed up.
It's all on you, bro. Let's move on to the next scene. So the next scene shows Eric and Virginia. They're sitting down for dinner. They're talking about their futures, their careers. Virginia says she plans to work and contribute financially. And Eric is like, oh, you're so sweet, but whatever you want to do, I will support you. My husband will be like, oh, yeah, you definitely going to work. I'm getting up for work. You getting up for work.
That's right. And you already know. Like,
he wouldn't have been like, oh, whatever you want to do. This one is like, if I'm waking up to go somewhere, everybody waking up to go somewhere.
If we hit the lotto and I no longer have to work, then yeah, we know no one's worried. But like, if I'm just making really good money.
Yeah, I'm still getting up to go somewhere.
Yeah, you got to have purpose.
That's true. And then he said, 15 days out of the month, he is gone because he is a pilot. And he was very stern with the fact that if she cannot handle it, it's over.
Well, just some people just can't handle it. They just want every single night. Gotta be there. And that's it. If I find that out, we're done. I'm not going to waste anyone's time. I'm not wasting my time. It's over.
And this is where I got really excited.
For him, because he started to stand up strong?
No, I can let you know if you let me finish my statement.
I can't. Okay, go ahead.
This is where I got really excited because I was getting burnt out on the Chris and Paige show. Mm-hmm. And this one conversation really let me know that, boy, are we going to have some sparks in this relationship.
Yeah, because that attitude kind of came out of nowhere.
She want to be around partying dudes all the. And how does that work? You're a woman. Does that sound smart? Like, what? I like to drink heavily.
Yes.
And I also want to be around
guy friends.
Yeah.
and be out and drunk and disoriented and can't make very good conscious
and want it to be okay.
Decisions. Yeah.
Wanting
and then
a license
he's gone 15
for
days out of the month on top of that. Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting setup between Eric and Virginia. So that's it for their scene. Let's move on to the final scenes of this episode. So the final few scenes of this episode show the couples all coming together to have like drinks and just talk. And then Chris and Paige dropped the bomb about Chris's ex-fiance being pregnant. Everybody's face is like,
I wish I could have been there.
oh my God. And then at this point, Eric and Virginia hadn't showed up yet, so they don't know the bomb that is being dropped. You know, and then they kind of cut to a scene where Paige is saying, you know, God doesn't give you more than you can handle. And, you know, she's going to try to work through it. And then Chris apparently feels some kind of way because the group is like supporting her, like, you know, you'll get through this, you got this. And he decides that he wants to step away and walk into another area.
And cry. And cry.
He sits down and starts the bawling.
Crying.
And you know what I really think this crying is about? And
attention.
But if you will let me finish my sentence, then you can know what I'm about to say.
Oh, I learned from the best.
No, I'm just kidding.
Next scene.
No. No, I'm just kidding. No, what I think it is, I think he honestly, in his heart of hearts, doesn't want to be with Paige and wants to be with his ex and the baby. I think that's why he's bawling and crying, because he's honestly upset that he made this irrational decision to marry a stranger at first sight. And his heart is really down the street.
Yeah.
What are you about to say?
I'm supportive of your theory.
You gotta smirk. I think that's why he's really crying, though. I'm not taking up for him by no means, but I really think that the emotional part of it, because he even said that, you know, he feels bad that everybody's happy. Paige is not happy. I honestly think he does care for Paige. You know what I mean? Like, Paige is not happy, and then he's honestly internally not happy. I think he would prefer to be back with his ex and their potential baby. That's why I think he's balling. He ain't happy.
I'm as part of the culture. We don't take no disrespect.
I was trying to keep it real. This one
crying. Keep it real. Why for these clowns?
Okay. Yeah. Then Chris decides to return back to the group, and they start talking about the topic of like the best part of being married. And then Eric and Virginia arrive to the group.
Talking about, because you skipped over earlier, and I wanted to say something and I forgot.
Okay.
You know how I be. The part where it was telling to me of the kind of dude Chris is.
Okay.
When he said, you know, everybody's giving support to Paige.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like anybody's supporting me.
But you are the problem.
Why would you support you for what?
I don't know. I think he's not being...
He's narcissistic. That's the N word you were looking for. Not narcissistic.
Okay, so...
Lying ass.
Eric and Virginia arrive late, and they catch Eric and Virginia up. Kind of like Clara throws it out there, like, oh, you guys don't know what's going on. Like, I feel like she was like the pot stirrer, for sure.
That's what you do when you're a late night host.
And so then Chris is like, I really don't owe anybody an explanation. And he tells them what's going on, and Virginia's response.
That she's pregnant. Yeah, so.
Really?
So.
It's like it's for sure yours.
She was like, but is it yours? I think everybody was thinking that, but nobody wanted to ask. I don't know if it was the drinks that she had. Yeah.
It was the drinks. Her and Eric too. Eric getting drugged into the drunkenness with it because you could tell he didn't have a, we're there for you, and whatever you need. And then it clicked in his head like, the dude you're talking about being there for is right next to, and we're there for you too. We're there for both of you. He caught himself real quick.
So then he says, and Eric says to Chris, dude, it's gonna be okay, and what you need to do is focus on her right now, your wife. And
if she's what you want, then you need to focus on her.
And Virginia's response, well, you got 9 months to. Oh my God. If talking out of turn was a person.
And perfect.
It was perfect.
It was perfect.
I would have been cracking up.
Perfect.
All the other couples kept such a straight face while they were saying this. I would have been dying.
Yo, Vince and Brianna gave me Pat and Cam. Because they was over there like, yeah.
Really with a whole lot of... They would have had to escort us out. They'd be like, these
Chris would have wanted to fight me.
Oh.
Absolutely.
Day one.
Because and it's not because I'm aggressive, but I'm going to laugh at you.
And that's going to
irk him. Stupid stuff.
That's going to irk him. So at the end of this scene, he asks for everyone to respect their privacy.
You need a tissue, Chris? You good? All right.
And that was the end of episode 5. So what do you guys think about episode 5? Another drama-filled episode. Poor Paige, kind of, but not really. I would just want to see how all the couples, when they get back to their actual lives, I want to see what that dynamic looks like.
Yeah, because Paige and Chris is becoming like Jacob's diet. Like, steak again.
It kind of reminds me of like
again.
And this is for
Give me something else. Chicken.
This is for my 80s.
Fish.
My 80s babies. It reminds me of like the Tom and Jerry. You remember cartoon? They hated each other but loved each other, and they tried to kill each other in every scene. But then they kind of like some scenes loved each other.
We know what Tom and Jerry was.
Oh, okay. Well, that's it for episode 5. Drop your comments in the comment section below. Let us know your thoughts on tonight's episode. Also, be sure to hit the like button to support our channel and subscribe, you guys, so you don't miss a beat when we upload more videos, and turn on that notification bell. Ding!
Yo.
We thank you for watching, and
wrap that up, B. Wrap it up.
See you guys in the next video. Bye, guys. See you next Friday. You're a mess.
Bing.